When President Trump questioned the Russian hacking activity on the Democratic National Committee networks during the 2016 elections by asking, "Where's the server?" people wonder, where's the server?
Dr. Stephen Andres, who teaches at the Fowler College of Business at SDSU, is on the KOGO News Live line. And Doctor, do we need the server or the servers or whatever? Do we need them?
We actually don't, and there's a little bit of a nerdy explanation up front, so bear with me 30 seconds as to why. First of all, there's not just one server. It's probably more like 150 of them, and most of them are cloud-based. Just like other companies out there, the DNC made use of cloud servers. So some of those are completely outside of the reach of the DNC, and investigators could have subpoenaed Google and other cloud providers whenever they wanted to get the information. But if we hone in on the few physical servers that were actually there at the DNC, which is probably what this statement is talking about, there's something important about computers to zero in on. So there's mainly two systems that are often conflated. There's the permanent storage. You might have heard of that as a hard drive. That's where you've got your operating system, your documents, your photos. And then you've got your temporary storage, your live memory. That's the workspace area when your computer does its work. As everyone knows, if you reboot or shut the power off, the temporary storage is zapped clean. So this is why it's so effective when your electronics aren't working quite right. You just reboot your router or your cable box, and things seem to work out. That's because that temporary storage was cleared out. So with the nerdy stuff out of the way, think about all the CSI or cop dramas you've seen on TV. Before the detectives even show up on the murder scene, there's that crew of people taking crime scene photos to preserve that evidence as close as possible to that actual crime. So in the cyber world, we call that a forensic duplication or a forensic image. Specialized hardware is attached to the server immediately, sometimes while the attack is still happening, before they even try to clean it up, so that we capture all of the permanent storage, the hard drives, and, this is the key part, also all of the live memory as the malware is executing in memory. The sort of advanced malware that nations use against each other is never written on the disk, so that when you turn the server off, it's gone, and you can never analyze it. So forensic duplication of the sort that CrowdStrike took of the DNC server is exactly what investigators needed to do their job. That forensic duplication was given over to the FBI. Director Comey mentioned that to Congress in March 2017, and that's all they need to do their job.
So then the government basically has what it needs?
Correct. Yeah, you wouldn't want a bunch of investigators going to a crime scene, stepping all over the bloody footprints and moving the bodies. You want them working off of the crime scene photos that were taken as close as possible to the crime. And that's what they have. CrowdStrike took forensic duplications, provided them to the FBI. That you take the image first, and then you remediate the problem so that you always have a record of what was there. Handing over the physical servers now would be completely useless. Number one, they've probably been unplugged for over a year, so all of the live memory is gone. And also, we don't know what condition they are today where they were back when the crime happened. So maybe somebody has changed files. So the forensic duplication is actually the ideal thing to use for investigation, and that's what the FBI already had.
You know, computer stuff is so confusing to a lot of us who don't understand, the ins. All I know is that I turn it on and then I start typing. And sometimes I have a question and I go to the Google and I ask it and then I get an answer. So to many of us, all of this it's like listening to a different language.
Absolutely. And, changing things into the physical space makes it more accessible to people. So they think, but there was a crime committed on the computer. I want to actually touch the computer. So it's a little bit contrary to that to think, if I gave you the computer, it's really not that useful to you. If I gave you this forensic duplication that was taken at the time that the malware was on there, it's incredibly useful to you. So even if the DNC would drive over the server to the FBI headquarters today, it's not going to be very useful.
Very interesting. Doctor, thank you for your time.
No problem.
All right, that is Dr. Stephen Andres joining us on the KOGO News.